6-minute podcast. Business, study, life.
Hey everyone, you ready to unlock some serious brain power today?
Always ready for that.
Okay, good. I'm excited about this one. Today, we're going deep on a method that I think a lot of people could benefit from. It's all about improving how we think.
Yeah.
So, we're looking at Dr. Edward De Bono's 6 thinking hats method. I've got the original document right here, actually. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, should we break down these hats? I'm dying to know what each color represents.
Let's do it. Start with white, maybe. That one's all about facts and information.
Okay, so white hat thinking is like you're the detective gathering evidence, right?
Yeah.
No opinions, just the cold, hard facts.
Exactly. It's about being objective, like looking at a spreadsheet or a database. What do we know for sure? What do we need to find out?
I could see how that would be helpful, just to clear the air and get everyone on the same page, especially if you're dealing with a really emotionally charged situation.
Oh, absolutely.
So once you've got the facts straight, where do you go from there?
Well, then it's time to put on the red hat, and this is where things get interesting.
This is the feeling hat, right?
Exactly. It's all about emotions and intuition, that gut feeling you get sometimes. The red hat gives you permission to acknowledge that. It's saying, hey, those feelings are valid even if you can't explain them logically.
I feel like this is kind of revolutionary, like we're always told to be rational and ignore our emotions, especially at work.
Right, like emotions are somehow unprofessional.
Yeah. But De Bono's saying they're actually an important part of the thinking process.
Totally. It's not about letting your emotions rule you, but recognizing that they can provide valuable insight. And then after you've explored those emotions, you can switch to the black hat.
It's the critical thinking hat. Right.
It is. But don't worry, it's not about being negative. It's about being cautious and realistic.
So it's less about pessimism and more about risk assessment.
Exactly. You're looking for potential problems, thinking through the worst-case scenarios.
So it's kind of like thinking defensively, but in a strategic way.
Exactly. The black hat helps you identify those potential pitfalls so you can avoid them, or at least have a plan to deal with them.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got facts, feelings, and caution. What's next?
Next comes the sunshine. Time for the yellow hat.
Yellow hat. This is the optimism hat, right?
You got it. This is where you focus on all the positive aspects of a situation.
Looking for opportunities, focusing on the benefits.
Exactly. The yellow hat helps you explore the potential for success, even in the face of challenges.
I can already see how this would be valuable in, a team setting.
Yeah.
To balance out all that black hat thinking.
Oh, for sure.
Honestly, I think everyone could use a little more yellow hat thinking in their lives these days.
Agreed. A little dose of optimism never hurts, especially before we head into the green hat.
Ooh, the green hat. This is what I've been waiting for. The creativity hat.
It is. This is where you get to brainstorm. Think outside the box. Generate all those wild and crazy ideas.
No judgment, just pure creative flow.
Exactly. The green hat is all about exploring possibilities without limitations. And you never know what brilliant ideas might emerge from that kind of thinking.
I love it. All right, so we've got 5 hats down. That leaves the blue hat. What's its role in all of this?
The blue hat is like the conductor of the orchestra. It's about process control, managing the discussion, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Okay, so the blue hat is kind of like the meta-thinking hat. It's thinking about thinking.
Exactly. It helps you step back and see the bigger picture. Like, are we using all the hats effectively? Are we staying focused on our objective?
Right. So the blue hat keeps everything on track. Make sure you're not getting lost in the weeds.
Precisely. It's about being deliberate and thoughtful about the entire thinking process.
This all sounds great in theory, but I'm curious to see how it actually plays out. Do you have an example of how someone might use the 6 thinking hats to tackle a real-life problem?
Sure. Let's say a business is struggling with long wait times for customers.
So how would they use the 6 thinking hats to address that?
Well, they might start with the white hat, gathering all the facts and data. What are the average wait times? When are the peak hours? What kind of feedback are they getting from customers?
Okay, so just laying out the objective reality of the situation.
Right. Then they might move to the red hat, talking about how these long wait times are making everyone feel. Customers are getting impatient, employees are stressed out, and it's just creating a negative atmosphere.
So acknowledging those emotions, which are often ignored in a business setting.
Exactly. Then they switch to the black hat, considering all the potential risks of inaction. Could this lead to lost customers, bad reviews, damage to their brand?
So they're really getting a clear picture of the potential negative consequences.
Right. But then they put on the yellow hat and start brainstorming all the positive outcomes that could come from solving this problem. Happier customers, better reviews, maybe even increased efficiency and revenue.
Okay, so they're shifting the focus from problems to possibilities.
Exactly. And that positive energy fuels their creativity as they move to the green hat and start generating solutions. Maybe they consider online appointment scheduling, a redesigned waiting area with more comfortable seating, or a customer service training program for employees.
And then finally, they use the blue hat to evaluate all those ideas, weigh the pros and cons, and choose the best approach.
Exactly. The 6 thinking hats help them approach the problem from all angles, ensuring a more comprehensive and well-considered solution.
So it's not just about coming up with a solution, it's about having a structured process to make sure it's the right solution.
Exactly. And that's what makes this method so powerful.
So for our listeners who are now eager to put on these thinking hats, what's the best way to start?
I'd say start small. Choose a problem or decision you're facing, even something simple, and try running it through the different hats. See how shifting your perspective changes your thinking.
Great advice. And I think the key takeaway here is that we have more control over our thinking than we realize.
Totally. We don't have to be stuck in our default modes. We can choose to think differently, to approach problems more strategically and creatively.
Absolutely. And the 6 thinking hats method gives us the tools to do just that.